welcome to AMC Movie Talk for movie fans. I'm Kingsley Kennedy, and this is the show where we bring you the day's biggest movie news, and of course we give you insight into what it all means. Joining me, as always, is AMC Movie News Senior Editor, Mr. John Campea.
Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the show here in the Stream TV studios here in Hollywood, California. So glad you guys are joining us today as we run down all the biggest stuff in the world of movie news.
We also have joining us our very own AMC production manager, Mr. Dennis Sen.
Hey guys, I'm glad to be here with these two, just like on Monday.
And you're rocking your new Surface Pro.
Yes. Excited about that
later.
And we also have director of the upcoming film, The Death of Superman Lives. What happened? Mr. John Schnepp.
What's going on? I'm kind of jealous of the Surface 2. I'm like a Mac purist, and now it's like...
That looks pretty cool.
It looks cool. So.
A brand new trailer for the upcoming Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues, has just hit the web. With the 70s behind him, San Diego's top-rated newsman Ron Burgundy returns to the news desk. Also back for more are Ron's co-anchor and wife, Veronica Corningstone, weatherman Brick Tamland, man on the street Brian Fantana, and sports guy Champ Kind, all of whom won't make it easy to stay classy, while talking New York's finest first 24-hour news channel by storm. Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues, opens in AMC theaters everywhere on December 20th. John, what do you think of the new trailer?
You know, it doesn't matter how much you like the first Anchorman, and I like it a lot, and I'm a huge fan of it. I've watched it like 15 times. I'll watch it whenever it comes across. I'll stop if it's on, and I'll watch it. But even I, as much as I love the film and I'm a huge believer in the franchise, I have my doubts, right, in the back of my head. John, what if it sucks? It's not going to be as funny as the first one. You know what now? I've seen 2 trailers now, 3 if you count the international one we just watched, because there's an international version of the second trailer that just came out. I've watched 3 trailers now. If the rest of the movie is just them sitting around eating potato chips, and the stuff we've seen in the trailer, to me it's a win. I love this trailer. I laughed my ass off the first time I watched it this morning. I laughed again watching it again. I mean, bowling balls and scorpions, there's so much to like about this. It captures everything that I loved about the first one. It's got that same kind of tone to it and everything. I loved it. So yeah, for me, this just hyped up my expectations and my excitement about it all over. Dennis?
Yeah, I think the second trailer is hilarious, and I think it might. The movie might end up being better than the first one, dare I might say. But the only issue I have, it's not even an issue, it's more of an expectation thing. Like, we've seen the first trailer, it was hilarious. The second trailer was hilarious. The international trailer is hilarious. What if we've seen all the best jokes? That's my only concern.
That's always the fear, though, right? That's always the risk.
But we've seen so much from it now, and I'm like, that joke is hilarious, that joke's hilarious. What if we've seen them all? I'm hoping that they've even kept even better ones hidden away from us.
Yeah, Schnepp?
Yeah, I have to say, I think there's way funnier bits in the entire movie, because if you remember Anchorman, it's just jam-packed with incredible jokes, funny situations. So even though we've seen about 5 minutes of the movie, there's another 90 minutes of flavor. And I just cracked up this. If you haven't seen the international trailer,
look it up.
Look it up and find out what a hooded guest is. I mean, it's literally, I laughed out loud by myself, and I laughed out loud with these guys. We just watched it again. So
there's a reason why that one's on the international one
and not on the domestic one.
Look it up. Yeah.
Undoubtedly one of the best characters in James Cameron's 2009 film Avatar was the villain, Colonel Miles Quaritch, played by actor Stephen Lang. Now, Cameron has released a statement that confirms Lang will indeed return to the world of Avatar for all of the news films in Avatar 2, 3, and 4. Cameron said the following: Stephen was so memorable in the first film, we're privileged to have him back. I'm not going to say exactly how we're bringing him back, but it's a science fiction story after all. His character will evolve into really unexpected places across the arc of our new 3-film saga. I really look forward to working with such a gifted actor who's also become a good friend. Dennis, what do you think about Stephen Lang returning for all the new Avatar films?
I like it. I thought he was a good villain in the first one. What I hope, though, is that he isn't the main villain for the next story arc. I hope that maybe he comes out and he's like, I don't know, somehow his dead body merged with some of the weird trees or animals on Pandora, and he turns into some, like, dilapidated, crazy, like, mixed
Akira
beast.
kind of monster.
Yes. And he like somehow maybe helps out whoever the main villain is for the next story arc.
Have you read the script?
No, I'm just throwing it off the top of my head. But I just don't want him to be the main villain again.
See, I don't mind the idea of him being the main villain, depending on how it is they set it up. Like, I don't just want him to, the camera comes back to him where he was laying after he was defeated and just open his eyes, stand up and go, okay, back to my evil. Like, as long as we don't see that. I loved Stephen Lang in Avatar. To me, look, I've talked before, and even just as early as yesterday, about how much I really enjoyed Avatar. I loved it. I saw it multiple times. But, as far as story goes and the dialogue was kind of weak. To me, Stephen Lang gave any heart that the film had. I got it from Stephen Lang, the villain. I thought he was just ridiculously good in this movie. I even thought he almost saved Conan. The Jason Momoa version of it. He, as the villain, he almost saved Conan. I think this guy is just talent personified. He's so great. I thought he was wonderful as the villain, as the antagonist. And all other things being equal, I agree with you, Dennis. I don't want him to just see him pop back up on the villain again. But if they do something interesting, like how they're going to bring him back and do something interesting from there, then I can see him being the villain. But it's hard to tell when we don't know what the story is yet. Schnepp?
Yeah, I mean, in order to have a great story, one of these kinds of stories, you have to have a great villain. And, that you can empathize. You don't have to agree with him, but you can see where he's coming from. So he's not just a two-dimensional villain. So I think bringing him back with a movie called Avatar, it's kind of like, my guess is that, there'll be 100 of them, like some Agent Smith style stuff. It could go that way. It's hard to tell, but obviously he said he's coming back for all 3 movies, so.
All right. Listen, folks, we reached that part of the show called Buy and Sell. Here's how this works. In front of her, Crystal Lee has a few other items in the world of movie news. She's going to run them down, and then Schnepp, Dennis, and I are simply going to say whether we buy it or sell it. So, Crystal Lee, what do we got?
In a recent interview, Academy Award-winning actor Sir Ben Kingsley revealed that he's still very much a part of the Marvel Universe, revealing that he has just been working on a new Marvel project. Kingsley said the following: "It's a secret Marvel project. I'm not allowed to say any more. You're going to have to wait and see. I was with many members of the crew that were involved in Iron Man 3. It was lovely to see them again. It was great to be with this wonderful family." Schnepp, buy or sell Kingsley doing a new Marvel project?
I'm going to buy it 100%. I'm very excited. My guess is it's just him as an actor in jail. It's going to be like one of those Marvel shorts. They'll slap it on to Captain America or something, and like on the DVD Blu-ray release or whatever. And it's great. I can't wait to see that. Or it would be Thanos giving him like superpowers, and then he really is the Mandarin. All the crying fanboys can be like, "We get our Mandarin," But I bet it's just him in jail having food. Getting drunk.
I'm going to buy it too, because I loved him in this. And for the people who complain like they hate what they did with the Mandarin, well, what I respond to people when they say that to me is, I'm sorry, did you think that was the Mandarin? Because that wasn't the Mandarin. They really clearly laid it out. He was some guy called himself the Mandarin, but then you realize that's not Mandarin. So they didn't really pervert and twist Mandarin, because the Mandarin we know and love was never in the movie in the first place. And I'm able to appreciate what they did do with that Ben Kingsley character. But I've always thought, wouldn't it be interesting if we get into some future Marvel films and we find out that Ben Kingsley Mandarin was pulling like what was his name in Usual Suspects?
Oh, Kaiser Soze.
Yeah, if they were pulling Kaiser Soze or his alter ego, that you just think he's this weak little nobody, but then you find it later, no, actually he is the Mandarin, and I don't know that that's
Heads
really going. But I agree with you.
America.
I think this is going to be one of those Marvel shorts. I think that's probably what they're doing, or a really funny not after scene, but maybe mid-movie little quick shot. It could be kind of cool. Dennis?
I'm gonna have to sell it, even though I don't have a problem with Ben Kingsley's character in Iron Man 3. I have no objection to it. I just think that because he's that character, there's no way he can play anything else in the universe, and so he has to be that. And yeah, it's cool if he does like one of those Marvel shorts for the Blu-ray and whatnot, but I think for an actor of his stature, like, you just expect something bigger and better. So I don't know, maybe he'll play a DC character one day.
In a Marvel film.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
The new George Clooney, Matt Damon World War II film, The Monuments Men, has been scheduled to hit AMC theaters everywhere on December 18th. Well, now those plans have gone out the window. According to reports, Clooney, who is also the director of the film, has not been able to finish all the required post-production on the film in time. The Monuments Men has been pushed to an undetermined date sometime in 2014. John, buy or sell The Monuments Men being pushed into 2014?
Look, as much as a guy who's worked in post-production for a number of years, I understand that things happen, things get pushed back, and I get all that. Okay, now that I've said that, I sell this. I was really looking forward to this film, and it is unfortunate that stuff like this happens. You have have a year and a half, 2 years to get your film made, to budget your time, to know what you need to do. Who knows, maybe there's a server meltdown somewhere, they lost 4 months of work, all that kind of stuff. The real unfortunate part about this for them and the studio, though, is that Monuments Men was starting to get some Oscar buzz. Now, nothing was guaranteed, of course, obviously, but now that this has been bumped out of the December date, and this is why they aim for December, so they could have an Oscar buzz campaign. Now that they're going to get bumped in 2014, obviously it's no longer eligible for that. We're probably going to be looking at sometime in March or April, sometime pre-summer. So, and I'm just really bummed as a film fan. I've been looking forward to seeing this film in general. So for that and many other reasons, I sell. Dennis?
I hesitantly buy. I think it always has to do when a production gets delayed. I always look at who's behind it. Like Scorsese and Wolf of Wall Street's delayed now. It's Scorsese, you know, so I'll give him a break. And George Clooney, he's an Oscar-nominated director. You know, I liked his films Good Night, Good Luck, Confessions of a Dangerous Mind. I liked Ides of March. I didn't love it. But so for that reason, I give him the benefit of the doubt.
I'm going to buy it simply because he's like an actor and a director. Like someone like Scorsese, the reason his movie's being delayed is because he delivered like a 3-hour cut.
Yeah.
So that's like him against the studio. We don't know exactly what the reasons are behind this, but my guess is it's probably something where he just hasn't had the time to put into the edit. So that'd be my just a guess. But you're right, it could be a server malfunction or any number of horrible things that could blow an entire, like, everything's gone, you know. What? People's brains explode. Yeah, it's like, push the date, whatever, so everything's ruined. But, you know, I'd much rather see this movie done the right way next year than, like, just some cobbled together thing and pushed out, so.
All right, what's next?
The new Captain America: The Winter Soldier hits AMC theaters on April 4th, 2014, and now this new poster and new image for the film have hit the web. The story picks up where Marvel's The Avengers left off as Steve Rogers struggles to embrace his role in the modern world and teams up with Natasha Romanoff, aka Black Widow, to battle a powerful yet shadowy enemy in present-day Washington, D.C. Dennis, buy or sell this new poster and new image from Captain America?
I buy it. I like the poster and I like the image. And the reason why I like the image is I like his costume because I think the original Captain America where he had the old, you know, World War II costume, I think that was cool. I wasn't a huge fan of his modernized one that was in Avengers. And this one kind of looks sleeker and darker, so that's why I buy it.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy both of them too. I love the poster itself, like him standing like some kind of sentinel, you know, overlooking this world he's protecting. You see the helicarrier there on the side. I like that, and I'm right with you. The big thing I love about this is the costume. I think if he was back in his own era, yeah, you go with that original costume that they used. I thought that was great, but I agree with you. That quasi-updated costume they used in Avengers, not doing it for me. This one looks great, so I'm really happy with it. So for me, it's a buy.
Yeah, it's a buy for me too. I love that poster. It's so badass. You know what I mean? It's just like super iconic. The shield, and he's like ready to jump off and kick somebody's ass. Basically, you're like, "What? I'm gonna protect America." It's one of those like, oh, one of those posters. I saw that. I was like, badass. The picture, you know, it's fine. I agree with you. Like the costume is right out of the comics, so it's kind of like, you know, it makes sense. I could have used a cooler picture instead of them just looking at a monitor, but I still buy it. I'm not gonna, you know, complain too much about it. Just give me another picture tomorrow. Actually, the trailer comes out in like tomorrow, right?
Yes, the first teaser trailer comes out tomorrow.
They had a teaser of the teaser trailer.
A teaser of the teaser of the teaser. Yeah.
I'm not
like
watching
today.
the teaser of the teaser.
It's like 10 seconds and it's like they just flash.
Oh, you already? So it's already on.
The teaser of the teasers already.
The teaser of the teasers there, but not the
My
teaser.
goodness. Marvel's really good at giving us just those little nuggets to get us excited. Secret Life of Walter Mitty writer Steve Conrad is stepping into the director's chair for a biopic of legendary comedy performer John Belushi. It's being reported that Conrad has been meeting with a few actors for the coveted role, and one of those names he has met with is Joaquin Phoenix. Schnepp, buy or sell the idea of Joaquin Phoenix playing John Belushi?
I'm gonna sell it. I think Joaquin Phoenix is an incredible actor. I just like my mind just can't snap. Like Belushi, who's one of my favorite comedians, and Joaquin Phoenix, I just keep trying to smash the faces together. Like he's going to be wearing a fat face, he's going to be wearing a rubber face, and smash them together. And I just can't get into. I know with power of the technology and latex makeup, they could do it. I just don't like it. So, and if he doesn't, I mean, I'm just not. I have to sell it. So.
Dennis?
I buy it. I like Joaquin Phoenix as an actor, and I think he's kind of crazy enough. And he's crazy enough, like, screw the CGI. He's going to just eat a bunch of donuts.
He's going to chub up.
Yeah, he's going to eat a bunch of donuts and
I think
hamburgers.
he's going to chub up,
And drink a lot of soda. And so he's going to chub up for that role.
All right, if he chubs up, I buy it.
Okay.
That's the only way I will buy it. Phoenix, you got to chub up.
I'm going to buy this. You know, I've been a huge fan. Look, let's call a spade, okay? This guy is, 4 times left of crazy. Phoenix. He's just a nut bar. But that being said, ever since Gladiator, which I still think he doesn't get enough credit, and
he's great.
His performance in Gladiator, I still think might be the best of his career. He was creepy and weird, and yet you sympathize with him sometimes, and yet he's menacing. I mean, he just ran the gamut. I think he's incredible. I can see him as Belushi, and I'm one of these guys where, in a biopic, I don't need the actor playing the subject to look just like the subject. I get over that in about 5 seconds. Like, at first it's like, that doesn't really look like JFK. And then, whatever, it's JFK. Now just get into the movie. So I think I'll be okay with that. But I do think he'll chub up for it. I think that's the way he's going to go.
He chubs up. Like Daniel Day-Lewis, you can get away with him being Lincoln because he's kind of Lincolnish looking, and they throw the fur on his face, and there he is, walk around, be all tall and brooding. I can't see it. Like, you're right. It's just because I love Belushi so much. So maybe that's my problem.
All right, folks, listen, we've reached that part of the show called Mailbag. If you've got a topic or a question you would like us to address on the show, you can email us anytime at amcmovietalk@gmail.com. Now, out of the thousands of questions we get every week, we pick a couple out every day and address them on the show. Right now, Chris Lee's got a few of them pulled out of the mailbag. So, Chris Lee, what do we got?
Clay Branson writes, you guys mentioned Avatar being just like Dances with Wolves, Ferngully, and Pocahontas, and I'm not disputing that. But there is much hatred on the web about Hunger Games ripping off some Japanese book movie, Battle Royale. Other than kids killing each other, the other parts are not even close to being similar. Can we please end this debate and much hatred these Hunger Games haters, Battle Royale apologists have for Hunger Games? Thanks and keep up the good work.
Well, I mean, you're right. I agree and disagree with you. I mean, you are right. There is a difference between the similarities between Avatar and A Dances with Wolves and between a Battle Royale and a Hunger Games. Like, let's play this. I like playing this game. So let's play this game here. I'm going to describe a movie to you guys. Then you tell me if I'm describing Avatar or if I'm describing Dances with Wolves. Okay? So this former military man who is injured in the line of duty gets reassigned to a faraway outpost where there is a native population kind of at odds with the military of his own people. This guy eventually falls in love with one of the daughters of the leaders of the native people, who is betrothed, by the way, to one of the warriors of the native people. He falls in love with her, and then he must decide, when a battle starts to brew, if he's going to side with his own people or side with the native population against his own people. Did I just describe Dances with Wolves, or did I describe Avatar? The answer is both. So there's a difference between, and I could do the same thing, by the way, with Fast and the Furious and Point Break. That's also, so there's a difference between a plot point by plot point by plot point complete ripoff, like that one was, and another set of movies that just kind of steals concept. Now you could say, okay, I'm going to describe a movie. A cop is in a race against time to stop a killer. Well, I just described 500 movies, but that's different. That concept is different from a plot point by plot point by plot point. Now, when we get to Battle Royale and Hunger Games, this is not a plot point by plot point by plot point. However, you can see where the people who complain about the similarities are coming from. I mean, it is a very specific concept. When you talk about the government gathers a bunch of unwilling children, go to this isolated area, who must now, over a course of a few days in the wilderness, fight to the death until only one remains. That is a pretty specific concept, very different from a cop is on a race against time to stop a killer. Right. So while you're right, it is not the same as Avatar to Ferngully or to Dances with Wolves or to Pocahontas or whatever. But there is, you can see where people are coming from. Me, I don't care. I don't mind, because you're right. After you get by the initial concept of Battle Royale and Hunger Games, they are two very different movies at the same time. So I agree where people are coming from, but they are different movies at the same time. Schnepp, how do you see it?
Well, yeah, I mean, what you just said is true. I mean, you could take all these Mars movies, and they're all the same because you had to get to Mars,
right?
And you had to terraform Mars, and so then everything's the same as Mission to Mars, or name them the Martian Chronicles. You could just say, oh, it's another Mars movie.
Right.
There's people living on Mars. What a ripoff! I mean, if you want to get that vague, it can get that vague. I mean, definitely, I'm sure the person who wrote Hunger Games. I'm sure they
familiar with Battle Royale.
Probably read a synopsis of Battle Royale. Maybe I'm not even saying they saw the movie. They just read it online somewhere and was like, "Ooh, that's kind of cool." What if it was young adult style or whatever turned their fancy to make them write the book? It's definitely. I couldn't say. I don't know if the person's ever been interviewed. The person who wrote the book.
She has.
Did she say she saw Battle Royale?
No, she says that she claims that she was watching television and she was watching. Flipping between reality TV and the invasion of the Iraq War, and somehow it blended together into a story about children being, put in a reality show.
And Battle Royale.
Yeah.
Well, there's also another movie
that's what she claims. I've never read the books. I don't know her, so that's what she says.
There's a movie that came out like about 10 years ago that was like a Session 9, or what was it called? It was like a reality TV show. Where
Session 9 was the Brad Anderson kind of horror thriller. I think you're thinking Session 5 or something like that.
I'm sorry, I can't remember the name right off the top of my head, but it was another contest type thing where people had to kill each other. It was like they were all selected in America. It was a reality TV show. I'm sorry, I'm blanking out what it's called.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about because I didn't see it, but I know it came out like early 2000s or something like that.
Yeah.
But I think one of the main points I want to bring up here is that, by the way, if you don't know what we're talking about and you haven't seen Battle Royale, I highly encourage you to go out and see Battle Royale. I'm not going to sit here and start a war about which is better, Hunger Games or Battle Royale. All I'm saying is treat yourself to Battle Royale. It is a masterpiece of a film. I really love it.
Tom Sweeney writes, with great movies like Point Break, Speed, and the Matrix movies on his record, why didn't Keanu Reeves ever transition into a legit action star after the Matrix films? I'm excited to see him take a stab at the action genre again with 47 Ronin and The Man of Tai Chi. But why didn't he ever become like, say, a Jason Statham? He definitely has the martial arts ability, and he's churned out some good action hits in his career. What do you think? Is it his acting ability, or is there more to it? Which brings me to another question. What makes a good action star? Thanks, guys. Love hearing your thoughts.
Well, when we start thinking about action stars, yeah, I mean, you want them to have some kind of physical presence, like a Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, whatever. Jason Statham is a very, actually, deceptively physically intimidating sort of dude. And you want them to have fighting skills and stuff like that, yes. But I'm going to go on record and say I believe that the number one most important quality for a potential action star to have, and this will go to why Keanu Reeves never actually was able to transition to becoming a legit action star, is charisma. I believe, because when you look at the great action stars, especially in our more contemporary era, you're talking about a Stallone, you're talking about an Arnold Schwarzenegger, maybe the single most charismatic human being to ever walk the face of the earth. You're talking about a Jason Statham. You're talking about a Jean-Claude Van Damme. You're talking about these guys, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, the most charismatic, electrifying personality in sports entertainment today. Okay, so you got these guys with mountains of charisma. That is just part of the action star package. When you bring that type of charisma, it can hide, and you're an action star, it covers over a multitude of sins like acting ability or whatever. Because come on, Schwarzenegger's no thespian. Jason Statham, as much as I love the dude, is never going to win an Academy Award. It's about the charisma they bring to these action roles. And let's just face it, as much as I really do like these films you listed, I really like Speed, I really like Point Break, I really like The Matrix. But that's not the face of charisma, ladies and gentlemen. That's not making me jump up and down my seat getting excited in a movie. And I think that's just my opinion. I just think that's the reason. Not acting ability, nothing like that. I just think he's not a charismatic guy. Some of the greatest actors in the history of film weren't charismatic guys either. But I think that's why we never saw him as an action star. Schnepp, how do you see it?
Well, I think he specifically himself took on other roles after The Matrix. So he didn't brand himself as an action star. So it made it harder for him to become Jason Statham is not in any other type of a film other than him beating people up, jumping off bridges, driving cars really fast.
Pure comedy and Snatch. He didn't do any action in
All right,
Snatch.
you got me on that one.
Aha!
Hey, but overall, he's an action star.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves has been in a ton of different films that have nothing to do with action. Like he's, I'm on drugs in this one film. I'm dealing with heartache in this other film. So him being an action star, and we can't forget the 2 Matrix sequels, which helped, make him not an action star just on principle alone. So, I don't think it's not a big deal that he's not like well known as an action star. I think the movies that are listed are enough to be like, hey, he's been in all these insanely great super action films, which will stand the test of time. They're still doing it. So, I don't need him to be like some matinee idol.
Dennis?
I'm actually looking forward to 47 Ronin. I know, like, people were, skeptical because he was in it, but I actually like the trailers. I think charisma's part of it. I don't think it's his look. He's a good-looking dude.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I think it's more of kind of his delivery of his tone, and I think versatility. And I'm not saying like Arnold is versatile or Jason Statham, his roles are versatile, like. But there is like a comedic element, like you mentioned, with Jason Statham that he has, and Arnold has that as well.
Yeah.
Kindergarten Cop is hilarious.
It really is.
He's funny in True Lies, and I don't think Keanu pulls that off. He can't really do comedy. He can only do serious, and that's it.
And we've seen him try to do comedy, and that's not his bag at all.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures. Whoa!
You got me. I'll give you that one. Actually, you got me on that one.
Snapped one, can't be a one.
Oh, tiebreaker tomorrow. All right, folks, that'll do it for us. We've run out of time. Thank you so much for joining us. Hey, listen, actually, before I do anything else, I want to remind you guys that on Friday, November 1st, at 3:30 p.m. at the Los Angeles Convention Center, we are going to be at Stan Lee's Kamikaze doing an AMC Movie Talk panel, talking movies. Specifically, we're going to be talking comic book movies for the afternoon. We may have a couple of special guests. We'll keep you up to date on that. But if you're in the LA area, make sure you come down to the Convention Center on Friday, November 1st, and join us there. I want to thank, first of all, the guys who are joining me here today. Sitting to my immediate right, the production manager of AMC Movie News, Mr. Dennis Zen. Dennis, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at ThinkHero and on YouTube ThinkHero Pro.
Writer, director, all-around wonderful guy, Mr. John Schnepp. Schnepp, where can people find you online?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at John Schnepp. And please type in what that movie's called. I think it's Session 7. It's driving me crazy. It's driving me crazy right now.
And of course, as always, our lovely host, Miss Chrisley Kennedy. Chrisley, where can people find you online?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Chrisley. Thanks for joining.
Thank you so much for joining us, guys. Listen, the most important part of our show is absolutely not what we have to say. It's what you have to say. Make sure you jump on down to the comments section below. Leave your thoughts on any or all of the topics that we discussed here today. Agree, disagree, it's all good. That's the fun part about being a film fan. So thanks a lot for joining us. My name's John Campia for AMC Movie News, and until tomorrow, bye-bye.
If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to AMC Movie News on YouTube. It's free and a great way to stay updated with all the latest movie news and check out our daily show, AMC Movie Talk. Also, don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Twitter to stay in the loop for our special prizes, giveaways, and contests.